श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय। श्यावर
रामचंद्र की जय।
श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय। श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय।
बोलो राम 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 राम। 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 बोलो राम 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 राम। बोलो राम 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 राम। बोलो राम 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 राम। लोकाभिरामं रणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये. I take refuge in Sri Rama, who's pleasing to the people, who's calm and composed in the battlefield, whose eyes are like blue lotuses, and who's the lord of the Raghu dynasty, who's an embodiment of compassion and shower his compassion to all. I take refuge in the lotus feet of Sri Ramachandra. So taking refuge in that amazing, magnanimous personality who, though on the one side we know he is so powerful, like today morning Bhagavatam class Maharaj was describing all about his power. So power makes a person attractive, but if power alone is there and Karuna is not there, then you know what happens if you have power and no Karuna? You become Ravana. Because Ravana was also very powerful, but the missing point was Karuna. So here we see the Supreme Lord is supremely powerful and He's supremely compassionate also. In fact, there is a description in Ramayan that when the Sita Swayamvar time was there and Ram and Lakshman had just entered the assembly. So Rama was being introduced as how he has killed so many demons because the demons were troubling, these saints who were performing sacrifices, and how he has killed so many demons and all. But that was not sounding very attractive. And then this point was added that how he delivered Ahilya. And then the hearts and minds got attracted to Lord Ramachandra. So power alone is not sufficient. We want the Lord to be powerful and compassionate also. I mean, that is how the Supreme Lord is. So to that Lord Ramachandra, we offer our obeisances. We take refuge in Him. It's a beautiful description. He is calm and composed on the battlefield. Very rare combination, because battlefield, Rajogun, passion, we have to kill. But He is calm and composed in the battlefield. His eyes are like blue lotuses. We are yet to witness the blue lotuses and how Lord's eyes would be. And then who is the Lord of Raghu dynasty? So the Raghu dynasty became famous because he appeared in that Raghu dynasty. He is embodiment of compassion and he showers his compassion to all. He does not make any discrimination. So yesterday's Bhagavatam class was also about the same, as how Lord showers His compassion to all, and He does not discriminate, He does not demand anyone and everyone. In fact, Lord Ramachandra, at one place, when it's a very famous incident that when Vibhishan came to take shelter of Lord Rama, and everyone was telling that don't trust him. All the monkeys, including Sugriva and everybody else, was saying that don't trust him. He's the brother of Ravana. He's not to be trusted. And Lord Rama says there, what to talk of Vibhishan if on this day Ravana himself comes and says that Rama, I surrender to you, I'll accept him. So what to talk of Vibhishan? So that is how compassionate he is, that he accepts one and all, everyone. And wherever we touch, it is beautiful. When I was preparing for this class and I was reading, and I was like, I forgot that I am preparing for the class because I got so carried away in the readings itself. So 2-3 days I was just reading and relishing. It is so relishable. So anyways, today we will try to touch base upon few things. So starting with what is the structure of Ramayan. So we see that Ramayan is basically divided into 7 kandas or the portions. Actually the Uttara Kand, the last one, it is controversial and some say that it is added later on. It's like an epilogue. It is like an addition which happened to the original Ramayan later. So there is Bal Kand, there is Ayodhya Kand, there is Aranya Kand, Kishkinda Kand, Sundar Kand, Yuddha Kand and Uttara Kand. So Bal Kand, it describes about 13 years of the activities of Lord Rama. And you know how it culminates? At the end of Bal Kand, what happens? Sita and Rama's marriage. That is how the Bal Kand ends. Next is Ayodhya Kand. Ayodhya Kand is about 1 year description is there, and this is they are staying in Ayodhya. Ram and Sita staying in Ayodhya. Then there is this Aranya Kand. Aranya Kand is the description of 13 years of exile and how Sita and Ram basically were having the time of their life. Like they were not missing out on anything. They were really very, very, very happy and blissfully situated there in the forest. So that is Aranya Kand. Kishkinda Kand. It is for 2 months. What happens in Kishkinda Kand? So Kishkinda Kand is about searching Sita. Sundar Kand. Sundar Kand is for 2 days. And what is there in Sundar Kand? Hanuman finds Sita. So Hanuman finds Sita Devi and he gives the message and then he collects the message of Sita Devi and comes back. And then Yuddha Kand. 6 months. Yuddh, fight. And what happens primarily? What is the highlight of Yuddha Kand? Rama kills Ravana and Rama and Sita unite. So though the name is Ramayan, but each Kand talks about Sita. Bal Kand, Sita's marriage. Ayodhya Kand, Sita in Ayodhya. Aranya Kand, Sita and Ram. Kishkinda Kand, search of Sita. Sundar Kand, the message to Sita, to and fro. And Yuddha Kand, again union after a very long separation of Sita and Ram. So this, my dear devotees, is such a fascinating love story with deep emotions, intense emotions, and how a chaste husband should be. You know how Ram was such a chaste and loyal husband, and how a wife should be. So many things to learn from this particular Puran. And somehow Ramayan, there are 2 main turning points. And both those 2 turning points, so much female empowerment. 2 turning points because of 2 female. One is more than Kaikeyi. One is Manthara. One is Manthara. The second turning point is Surpanakha. So you see, this whole book is about Sita Devi, and then the 2 turning points, the 2 twists are Manthara and Surpanakha. The whole geography of Ramayan changes because of these 2 ladies. So that is Ramayan, and Ramayan is basically spoken or happens in 3 different cities. So one is Ayodhya, one is Kishkinda, and one is Lanka. So if we will see the inhabitants of these 3 places, they were very different from each other. Ayodhya Vasis, absolutely righteous people. Like Ayodhya, we can say it is in Shuddha Sattva. You know, people were all right. There was nothing wrong which would happen there. And the doors would not be locked because there were no thieves. Why there were no thieves? Everybody was satisfied. So everyone was completely satisfied and nice and pure people. In Ayodhya, we see 2 brothers, Ram and Bharat, and they are fighting. You know why they are fighting? what is right and what is more right. The fight is between right and more right. So Rama leaves the kingdom because he says that that is right, because my father has told me to leave the kingdom. Bharat says, but you are the eldest son, and more right than that is that you come to the kingdom and take care of the kingdom. I cannot take care of the kingdom. So both of them are actually competing for what is right and what is more right. Then we have Kishkinda. So Kishkinda, it falls somewhere in Karnataka area, current Karnataka area. And Kishkinda is the place where we have these monkey armies and monkey kingdom and wonder monkey. The term used there is Vanara. Va-nara. So they are almost like Nara, but they are not Nara. Nara means humans. So they are almost like humans, but they are not human. So we see that they are doing all human-like activities also. So they fight between what is right and what is wrong. So who's the brother duo there? Sugriv and Bali. So they are fighting with each other to establish or to do the right thing. And then the third one is Lanka. So Lanka, though it is extremely opulent city, amazing, like breathtakingly beautiful. The walls are of silver and the palaces are made of gold there. So much opulence is there in Lanka. And how are Lanka Vasis? There also we have a brother duo, Raman and Kumbhakaran. You do wrong, I'll do more wrong. So competition is there between wrong and more wrong. So these are the three cities, and this is where Ramayan is. And Ramayan is our journey also. Are we in Lanka? Are we in Kishkinda? How to reach Ayodhya? So that journey which each one of us, we are doing. So probably before coming to ISKCON, many of us were in Lanka. Right? Busy doing wrong things, busy enjoying our senses, busy doing only those things which give pleasure to me and rationalizing everything, whatever I am doing. And then somebody came and knocked our door and gave a Bhagavad Gita and gave a mantra card and asked us to chant, and gradually we came to Kishkinda, and sometime we feel, okay, let me be in Ayodhya. I aspire to be there, but I am not there. At least let me stop doing what I am not supposed to do. So, so that is the journey of Ramayan. People in Lanka are absolutely thankless people. People in Ayodhya have extreme degree of gratitude. People in Kishkinda, when they are reminded, they become grateful. Now, how or why I am saying that? Lanka, we know that, Lanka, there is one story that Ravan did a huge tapasya to please Lord Shiva. And you know what he does to please Lord Shiva? He pulled out his nerves. And he uses his nerves as a string instrument. Like the strings are then a sitar. So like that, he used his nerves, and one of his head he used as that veena ka, what is that bass thing. So with that he made, like the head was that and the nerves were there, and then he was singing to please Ramana, to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva was very pleased. Ashutosh he gets pleased very easily. So Shiva was very pleased and he said, okay, ask, what do you want to ask? So he said, one, I want Atmalinga, your own linga, I want. And second, when I came to Kailash, I saw that there was this one beautiful lady. So I want that lady also. He doesn't say Sati or Parvati. He says that beautiful lady. So that is how actually, he cheats. He's so ungrateful that he has pleased Lord Shiva, and then this is what he is asking. So I'm not going in that detail how Vishnu tricked and whatever. But then this is Ravan mentality or mentality of Lanka Vasi. The mentality of Ayodhya Vasi. So when the coronation ceremony was happening, when Rama had come back after exile and coronation was going on, and they were sprinkling lot of kumkum and different colors, like people were happy, they were celebrating. So when Sita Devi saw this red color in the air, Suddenly she started weeping profusely, and people started asking, Rama asked, what happened, what happened? In that moment, when everybody was so joyous, she was remembering Jatayu. And she was crying tears. Sita Devi, the supreme goddess herself, was crying. That is the degree of gratitude in Ayodhya Vasi. And when we talk of Kishkinta, so Bali and Sugriv, Rama says, okay, I'll help you finding your wife, your kingdom. And that is what he helped Sugriv do. And Sugriv, when he conquered and when he became the king, he forgot Rama. He started enjoying. Chaturmas period came and it was getting over, and he was busy in his own enjoyment, and Rama was so despondent, desperate, and he was becoming so depressed. And Lakshmana gets very angry and he says, okay, now today I am going to kill Sugriv. So he gets very angry and he says, now I am going. And then Rama said, what you are doing is right, but decrease the degree. You use your weapon to threaten him. So he'll become fearful and then he will come and help me. You don't have to kill him. So when Lakshman goes there and he chastises him, and when he becomes fearful, then that happens. Then suddenly he remembers, Rama, he has done this and that. So that is our situation. We need to be reminded to be grateful. So this is how Ayodhya, Kishkinta and Lanka, these are the three places. Now, we will touch base upon Navavidha Bhakti. So we know the 9 processes of devotional service, which is described in 7th canto by Prahlad Maharaj when he says, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. So he talks about these 9 things, 9 processes of devotional service, and we will see which devotees from Ramayan, they perfected their lives in these methods. So starting with Shravanam. What is Shravanam? Hearing what? Hearing the glories of God. God Prabhupada doesn't use so often. So hearing the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Shravanam. So here we have, spot the devotee who's expert in Shravanam. So it is said that wherever Ram Katha happens, Hanuman is sitting. We can, if we see from our spiritual senses, we may perceive Hanuman is actually here also, because we have such wonderful audience who's eager to hear about Ramakatha. So Shravanam is perfected by Hanuman. So though devotees, we all chant, no, we don't chant, but devotees, some devotees, Hanuman devotees, they chant Hanuman Chalisa. Jai Hanuman Gyan Gun Sagar, Jai Kapish Tihulok Sagar, Ramaduta Tulit Baldhama, Anjani Putra Pavan Sudarama. Then? See, everyone knows. Yeah, so we have been disturbing Hanuman like that. Hanuman is not interested in Hanuman Chalisa. Hanuman is interested in Ram, 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 Sita, Ram, Sita, Ram, Sita, Ram, Sita, Ram, Sita, Ram. So that is what Hanuman is interested in. So Shravanam. Next is Kirtanam. So Kirtanam examples are Valmiki and then Love and Kush. So we know that Valmiki teaches Love and Kush, Ramayan, and then after that they started traveling. They would travel all over the globe and they would sing the glories of Lord Ramachandra. And that is how they are perfect, but they established that how this Kirtanam should happen. The third one is Smaranam. Smaranam. So Mother Sita, she is an epitome of Smaranam. When Sita Devi was separated, when Sita Devi was kidnapped and Sita Devi was there in Ashok Vatika, and Ravana would come and he would offer her so many things. And he would tell that your husband has no capacity, capability, quality to defeat me, and with me you can, with I have all my wives who will become your slaves, and with my 10 heads I will bow down to you, with my 20 hands I will massage your feet. You just say yes to me. So like that, Raman was trying to allure her in various manners, sometimes threatening, like Sam, Dam, Dand, Bed, everything he implies. But Sita Devi, she was constantly absorbed in the thought of Lord Rama. So much so that her face started resembling Lord Rama. Such deep meditation on Lord Sri Ram. So that is how, though she was there in Lanka, but she was completely Rama conscious all those almost a year. And then Pada Sevanam, we have Bharat Maharaj. Now Bharat Maharaj, I just briefly mentioned that how he was telling Rama that, when Bharat reached back Ayodhya, and when he realized that his father was no more, so the first thing, of course he was feeling very sad and bad, but the first thing he said, at least Rama was there on his side. So then he was informed that Rama was not there, and then he asked, where is Rama? So he was informed that Rama has been banished to the forest. So then his question was that he is banished for 14 years. So he asked, what did he do? See, he is also a Kshatriya. So it is not that he is completely biased. So he gives various things that, 1, 2, 3, 4, like, did he do something wrong? Otherwise, why is he banished? And then when he was told by his mother, the mother Kaikeyi tells him that I have asked these two things, and from that moment onward, he turned his back towards Kaikeyi and he stopped calling her mother. And then he went to Kaushalya and he pacifies Kaushalya, and everybody, imagine Bharat's position. Everyone, entire Ayodhya was doubting him actually, because he was to be the king. So everyone was doubting him, and he could convince Kaushalya and Vashisht and all the Ayodhya Vasis, and he said that I am going and I will bring back Rama by any way. I cannot be the king. And then he goes there, and then there is lot of debate. Not only discussion, but debate. And then Vashisht Muni actually tells Rama that, okay, you should follow what your father says, mother says, and teacher says. So I am your guru and I am telling you, come and be the king. So Rama replies, yes, what you are saying is right. So I will follow the instruction in that sequence. So I will follow what my father and mother has given me order. And then after 14 years, I will come and I will be the king of Ayodhya. But in the meantime, let Bharat be the king. So Bharat says that if you want, he says, I will be the deputy then. And you give me your padukas, I will place your padukas on the throne and they will rule the kingdom. You will rule the kingdom. I will wait for 14 years. 1 day extra and I will commit suicide. And then Bharat goes back and Bharat establishes these padukas. So Bharat do not go back to Ayodhya. On the outskirts of Ayodhya, there is a small village called Nandigram. So he starts staying there. He constructs a tiny hut. He stays there for 14 years because he knew Rama was eating only roots and fruits. For 14 years, he ate only once, and that too barley soaked in cow urine. That's all what he ate for 14 long years. And because he knew that Rama would be sleeping on the floor in the forest, on the ground, so he actually dig up a pit 2 feet deep. How can I sleep at the same level as Rama? So he would go down inside the pit and he would sleep there every night. Every day morning he would wake up at 2:30 and go for his morning bath. And he would say that if anyone who wakes up and sees me, the first person in the morning, his day would be spoiled. So I should go take bath and come back before people actually start waking up and taking bath. So that is how austere life he self-invited and he lived. And he did not compromise on the rulership. So the kingdom of Ayodhya grew to 4 times what it was because of Bharat Maharaj's ruling. And whatever was happening, he would come back and report to the Padukas. So that is how actually he worshipped, and he teaches us how to absorb ourselves in Pada Sevanam. Then is Archanam. Archanam basically includes worshipping the deities. For us, we worship the deities, Naivedyam. So here we have the example of Shabri, an old lady who was waiting for Rama that someday Ram aayenge, So I'll do this and I'll do that. And when Ram actually came, so she got some berries from the tree, and she was not sure how the berries would taste. So first she tasted the berries, and then she selected only the sweet ones. So half chewed berries. When Lakshman saw the plate, what Shabri was offering, he got very angry. What is this? And Rama looked at him and he indicated, you be quiet. And Rama accepted it because it's coming out of so much of love. So that when Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yo Me Bhaktya Prayachati, he's talking about bhakti. He's talking about devotion. So that devotional offering is something which pleases the Supreme Lord. So that is Archanam. What comes next? Who exemplifies Vandanam? So Vibhishan, and this is the palace of Vibhishan. In the palace, inside the wall, it was all written Ram, 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 Ram. So once Ravana visited and said, what is this? You are my brother and you have written my enemy's name throughout the wall of your palace. And Vibhishan was, where? Where, my dear brother? Where is your enemy's name? What is this Ram, Ram, Ram? Oh, that is Ram. Ra for Ravan, Ma for Mandodari. Ra for Ravan, Ma for Mandodari. So that logic he gives, then Ravan becomes very pleased and he goes. So this is how Vibhishan, though he was staying in Lanka. So we just discussed Ayodhya, Kishkinda and Lanka. Though he was staying physically, geographically living in Lanka, but he was completely Ayodhya Vasi. That is how he was absorbed. The next one is Dasyam. Who's Dasyam? Hanuman is Shavanam. So Lakshman comes under Dasyam. When Ram was exiled, Sita accompanied Rama because she was the wife. Who asked Lakshmana to go? So there is this dialogue, we will be discussing those dialogues also, that how Rama convinces Kaushalya and Sita convinces Rama that she's coming. So when both of them are ready, Lakshman says, yeah, come, we'll go. And then he said, we will go. Like, seriously, where are you coming? So he said, no, you told that we will go. He said, when did I say we will go? So actually what has happened is, before leaving, Lord Rama, he was giving certain instructions to Sita Devi. So he said that this old lady, who's your mother-in-law, she will die in pain of separation from me. So you be here and you take care of her, and whenever she's sad, whenever she's crying, you read something from scriptures, from Puranas, from Bhagavatam, and tell her. And then when Bharat returns and Bharat will be the king, you please do not have any animosity. Accept him as the king. He is the king. Take care of all the three mothers. Take care of Shatrugna and ignore Shatrugna if he does something wrong. So like that he spoke to Sita Devi. And then when he's saying that I will be gone, actually he uses plural. Bahuvachan mein he's saying that when we will go, then you take care of all these people. Like that. So then Lakshman points out, you directly told me, you were telling Sita to take care of the mothers of Bharat or Shatrugna. You did not tell to take care of Lakshman. You said we are going. Is it not understood that I am coming along with you? Why you are even, saying that you are not coming? I am ready. Come, we'll go. Like that. So Lakshman voluntarily accepted that separation from all the opulence, separation from his mother. So Lakshman goes to his mother and he is thinking that एक mother like Kaushalya ko manana, it was so difficult, and now next is my mother. How will I convince? And when he reaches there, the news had already reached Sumitra. So she was actually very happy and joyful. And she is blessing and she is telling that today my birth is successful because both my children, one has become the servant of Rama and other has become the servant of Bharat. So now you go and rule the kingdom of servitude. That is the instruction which the mother is giving, that rule the kingdom of servitude. From this day onwards, Rama is your father and Sita is your mother. And you be there as their shadow despite any discomfort or any problems. You just be there, and you have brought me so much joy and you have made me so proud of you, Lakshman. So that was mother's reaction. And then he goes to meet his wife. So when Urmila, his wife, Urmila Devi, she was an expert painter. And when Lakshmana walks in, that time Urmila was actually painting a picture of Ram Sita coronation. And she was thinking that this I will present to them today. So she was almost finishing and Lakshman walks in from behind and the color got splashed and the painting was spoiled. And she turns behind and she says, "My dear Lord, what you have done? The painting is spoiled." And then Lakshman describes that what has happened which she is not aware of. And he tells that, "So I have come here because I want to take your permission." So Urmila Devi says that as a wife, my duty is to be with my husband. Like Sita, that is on those grounds only Sita was going, that it is my duty to be with my husband. So Urmila Devi says that it is my duty to be with my husband, to accompany him and to leave the royal palace behind if my husband is not here. So that is my duty, but I also understand that if I come along with you, I will be a problem in you performing your duty. Because you are going for a duty to serve Ram and Sita. And if I come, I will become an unnecessary responsibility on you and you have to take care of me. So to fulfill that duty, as a duty, I will stay back. I will be in your separation. So that is the degree of righteousness. I was telling you that they compete what is right and what is more right. So Urmila Devi chose to stay behind. And Lakshman was so pleased and he was so relieved. And then later on there is an incident that when in the first day when he's in the forest and it's night time and people are expected to sleep at night. And Lakshman says, "No, I will not sleep." And Nidra Devi comes and says, "You have to sleep. It is night." So he tells that I take a vow for next 14 years, I will not sleep. I'll be guarding my brother and sister-in-law. So I'll not sleep. So then Nidra Devi asks, "Then what do I do?" So he says that you go back to Ayodhya. Go to the palace of Urmila. Urmila will sleep on my behalf. So Urmila, it is described that during night she would sleep her quota of sleep and during daytime she would sleep Lakshman's quota. So that is the degree of dasyam, the servitude which we talk about. Next is Sakhyam. This I found very fascinating, that actually when Ram and Sugriv, when they become friends, so they actually had this fire sacrifice. They lit a fire, they hold hand, they circumambulate, they take 7 pheras, that my kingdom is your kingdom is mine, my problems are your problems are mine. Like that they actually speak, and then this bond is sealed in that manner. Depicts friendship from Navavidhi Bhakti from Ramayan. Which one is left? Who is there for Atma Nivedan? So Jatayu's name come for Atma Nivedanam. So this is what was happening. Sita is being kidnapped by Ravana. Ravana places her in Pushpak Viman and he is flying. Sita is very disturbed. She wants to jump from Pushpak Viman. Ravana is grabbing her arm and holding her back. and her hair are disheveled, her jewelry, there is another incident we will discuss. So jewelry is gone, and she is helplessly, she's peeping out, looking down, is there someone who can help me? And then she sees that there is that old friend of my father-in-law, Jatayu. Jatayu is there. Jatayu is an old vulture bird who was Dashrath's very good friend. And Jatayu happened to meet, so there is a description that they actually had met Jatayu before when they were in forest. So Sita recognizes that that is Jatayu, and Sita starts calling out, Jatayu, Jatayu, and then Jatayu, with great difficulty, he opens his eyes and he looks up, and who's there? And he sees that, oh, Sita is there. And then with his full power, whatever it was, he starts flying up. And Sita is telling that Ravan is kidnapping me, Ravan is taking me to Lanka. Please give this message to Rama, because Rama will come looking for me. You just give him this message. Don't come to protect me, because you will not be able to protect. You are limited, you are old, so you cannot defeat Ravan. Ravan is very powerful. Don't come. So Sita gave a very clear instruction, don't come to protect me. What was Sita's instruction? Inform the Lord that such and such thing has happened. Jatayu started thinking within. And Jatayu started to think, how will I ever live if I will know that I could have tried and I did not try? I may not pass. I may not be able to protect her. But with that guilt, how will I live? That in front of me, my daughter-in-law is being abducted and I'm just like waiting here as a messenger to give the message. So he flies high, and it is described that this Pushpak Viman had this canopy, and with his beak he starts, putting holes in that canopy, and the whole Pushpak Viman starts shaking, and then Ravan gets like distracted or disturbed, and he sees who has come, what is happening, and then he spots Jatayu, and Jatayu gives a very difficult competition to Ravan. Now, Ravan had so much extra points. Ravan was in Pushpak Viman, so Ravan did not have to spend energy in flying also. This bird, he was flying to maintain himself there in the sky. Then Ravan was very powerful. Ravan was way younger, and he had so many different types of weapons. Jatayu did not had any weapon. Jatayu had no chat on the top or floor behind the bottom. He was in the air. He was trying his best to hold himself up there, and yet there was such a competition that at one point Ravan thought that probably I will lose. So Ravan is very tricky. He is very manipulative. So he comes up with a challenge. He tells Jatayu, okay, let's do one thing. This way we don't know if we will ever be able to defeat each other or what will happen. So let's do one thing. You tell me your weakness, I'll tell you my weakness. One weakness we will exchange. Now Jatayu also knows that in such a war, if it's a Kshatriya code that if somebody throws a challenge upon you, then you have to accept that challenge. So he accepts that challenge, and he tells that my weakness is my wings. And Ravan tells that my weakness is my right toe. Now toe is inside the Pushpak Viman. Wings are out in the air. And he tells that, and the moment he tells, he takes out his Chandrahas, the most powerful weapon which was gifted to him by Lord Shiva, and he just smashes his wings. He cuts his wings. And yet, though bleeding profusely, yet he is trying to do something, do some harm, tries to reach to the toe of Ravan. And then Ravan starts laughing hysterically and he says, you fool! Who asked you to tell the real weakness? My toe is not my weakness, I have some other weakness. So like that, so actually though Jatayu was so old and so, helpless, yet he gave such a tough competition that Ravana could not win a fair square game. He had to manipulate and win. So then finally after this Jatayu falls down, and then he was somehow holding his breath because he wanted to give that message. Because that was the instruction what Sita Devi gave. So finally Ram and Lakshman comes, and then Rama sees Jatayu, and then he, embraces him, and then he gives this message of Sita Devi. And then Rama asks that, why did you do so? So he said, see, though I could not actually protect Sita Devi, but I could do something. So Ravan is very scholarly person. He's a Pandita. So what he has done is, he was kidnapping Sita in a particular Muhurat, which is known as Vinit Muhurat. So in that Muhurat, if someone loses something, doesn't come back to him, the owner will never find that. So during that Muhurat, he was taking Sita. By giving this fight, it took so much time that the Muhurat changed. And then it became Punarvasu Muhurat. And in Punarvasu Muhurat, the speciality is that whatever you lose, you get back. So, though I could not protect Sita, but I have ensured Rama that Sita will come back to you. So saying that, Jatayu actually leaves his body. And it is described like Ram and Lakshman, they were both weeping. And Rama did something which he could not do for his own father. Rama does the final rites for Jatayu. And then there is a side story where it is mentioned that when Dashrath and Jatayu, like in their young days, when they were close friends, so, and that time there was, like Dashrath was not even married, young boys. So that time, Dashrath and Jatayu, they had some gambling, like how, betting game. And in that game, Dashrath lost. So Jatayu said, I'll take your son. So actually that had happened, that he does what he could not do for his father, he does for Jatayu. So that is the power of Atmanivedan. So this is Navavida Bhakti, and we will discuss some lessons from Ramayan also. So whatever time we have, I think it is 10:55, so I guess we will end till 11:30. So whatever portions I am able to cover, I thought we will discuss these 5 important lessons from Ramayan. Culture of respect, following the dharma, one's true independence, all we have is each other, and tolerate personal disrespect but not the disrespect for others. So these are the 5 values or the 5 lessons which we thought we will discuss today, Rama willing, whatever time we have. So now, as I was getting into the culture of respect, so we will take different personalities and how they have this culture of respect. So starting from Lord Shri Ram himself. Now Lord Ram, he was such a powerful warrior that he was known as Ek Ban. He would shoot just one arrow, and that arrow would definitely reach its target and do the job. Like ऐसा नहीं होता था कि एक ही व्यक्ति को मारने के लिए 2 तीर चलाने पड़े. No misfiring. The arrow loses the trigger, it's shot and it meets there. So ek baan, ek vachan. Whatever he speaks, prana jaye par vachan na jaye, raghukul reet sada chali aaye. So that is the practice, that whatever he would say, he would do. And third was ek patni. So he was so loyal to Sita Devi that though he had to, because of the situation, he had to banish Sita once again. Yet he does not remarries. He makes a statue, a deity of Sita, and for all the yajnas, wherever husband wife have to sit, so Rama would sit along with that deity of Sita Devi. So that is how ek patni. So ek van, ek vachan, ek patni. So now when Rama was to be coronated, and everybody, the whole Ayodhya was excited, and that day early morning around 4 o'clock, Sumantra, the minister of Dashrath, he comes and he tells Rama that your father wants to see you in Kop Bhavan. So Kop Bhavan is actually, earlier in the palaces, there would be a place called Kop Bhavan where any resident of the palace who gets angry would go there. Or some minister also, if the minister is angry with the king, the minister would also go to the Kop Bhavan. So that day actually Rani Kaikeyi was in the Kop Bhavan, and then the Dashrath goes. So anyways, next day morning when Sumantra goes to check and he sees what has happened, and then Kaikeyi says, go and call Rama. So when Rama was being called and Rama sees that Dashrath was lying on the floor, half unconscious, like semi-conscious, in semi-conscious condition, and Kaikeyi was sitting there on the bed and she was having this very strange, weird looks on her face. And then Rama asks, what happened? What happened to the father? Is he okay? Is his health okay? And he starts crying. Dashrath starts crying when he hears the Rama's sound. And Kaikeyi says that your father may not be able to tell you, so let me tell you, let's come straight to the point. So your father has given me 2 boons, and I have asked him for those 2 boons. Now, because I have asked, he has gone in this state of shock. But anyways, the 2 boons are that Bharat be the king and you go to forest for 14 years. So you know what was Rama's reply? Rama was very, very, very upset. And he was so anxious. And he was very unsettled. Not because of the boon. But he said that throughout my life, I could not give you that confidence that you could have come and told me straight, Rama, go to the forest and let Bharat be the king, and I would not have followed. You are doubting my integrity. I have treated you completely non-different from Mother Kaushalya. In fact, the description is there that every day morning, Kaikeyi, the first face she would look is Lord Rama's. Rama would go to Kaikeyi, and Kaikeyi's name was Sulochini, because she would always have her eyes on Rama. So he was thinking that, like, I have failed as a son because I could not give you that confidence that you can ask me. What was the purpose to involve the father in all these things? And why do you need a boon? You have to order and I will go. So that is the culture of respect. And then here in the photo we see Kaushalya. So he goes to Kaushalya and he tells that this has happened. So Kaushalya asks him a question. So he goes along with Sita. And Kaushalya is aware that Sita is also planning to leave. So Kaushalya asks one question. Did Dashrath ask you to go, or Kaikeyi also told you to go? Because if Dashrath has told, so only your father has told, and as a mother I can stop you. But if Kaikeyi has also told, then your father and mother both have told, then I cannot stop you. I mean, we are talking about culture of respect. So then Rama informed that this has happened, and so then Kaushalya says that then whatever has been said, told to you, asked of you, then you have to do that. And she, of course, she is lamenting, of course she is grieving, of course she is very, very angry at Dashrath that what has happened to him, like he is not using his intelligence at all, like that, all that is there. But then she says, okay, you can go. But please tell Sita not to go. Sita, all this while, she was standing there looking at the ground, and with her toe she was क्या बोलते हैं कुरेद रही थी ground को, scratching with her toe. She was scratching the ground. So that is what happens. Like women generally, that is what we do when there is a difficult situation, especially in front of in-laws, not able to open our mouth, and yet, so that was her situation. She was very uncomfortable there. And it is described in Ramayan that till this time, Rama has never spoken to Sita in front of Kaushalya. Culture of respect. So this is the first time. So Rama seeks permission of mother and turns towards Sita Devi, and then he starts explaining Sita Devi that how forest life would be so difficult, how there are these animals, ferocious animals who would attack you, how there are man-eating carnivorous demons who would eat you up, how the heat is not like what you have experienced here, or the cold, it's not like what you have experienced here. There would be no roof on the top, no floor on the ground. You are used to all these soft cushion beds, etc., etc. So he tells all those things. And he says, what will happen to my reputation if I'll take you? They'll say that, oh, so he drags Sita also there. So Rama gives all these reasons. He tells who will take care of your mother-in-law. So Rama doesn't say that who will take care of my mother, because then it will be talking about him. So he's reminding Sita Devi of her duty. It is your duty to take care of your mother-in-law. Who will take care of your mother-in-law? And then Sita starts telling. Sita says, yes, all what you have described, I have never experienced. I have never been out. I have maximum been to my garden. I mean, that is the maximum outside exposure what I have. I have never experienced all this. But I have never experienced separation from you, my dear Rama. And I think that separation from you is much more difficult than anything what you are describing. So it is described, she mentions Piya Viyog. Viyog from my Piya or from my beloved. So that is something which I will never be able to tolerate. I can tolerate everything else. Heat and cold I can tolerate. Ground, it's not there. Cushion, it is not there. But your arms would be there to, which I can use as a pillow. And you will be there next to me always. So like that, Sita starts responding. Ferocious animals may come, but what will you do when ferocious animal will come? Will you allow them to come and eat me? Demons will come, but knowing that you are there, knowing your popularity, demons would not come near us also. So everything I can tolerate, but not this. Rama was still not very convinced. So Sita decided that now I will speak something which is disrespectful, which is hurtful, but this is the only way that I can convince Rama to take me. And then 14 years in forest, so I will pacify him for 14 years. And then she opens her mouth and she says, you are talking about your reputation, what will Janak think? He will think that he has married his daughter to a lady who's dressed like a man and who's carrying bow and arrow. Because you are shying away from your responsibility of taking care of. And that was like trump card. Then Rama was quiet. I mean, of course she repented, and there are a lot of descriptions later on, and in fact some acharyas, they also mention that the whole Ravana kidnapping happened. So one was this reason also, that is also mentioned. So anyways, so that is how Sita convinces. And when Lakshman, so then Lakshman was ready to leave, and Lakshman discussion was going on. And then Rama tells, who will take care of Mother Kaushalya? I am going, she cannot tolerate the separation from two sons. You have to take care of her. Lakshman says, you are asking me to take care of Kaushalya? Kaushalya can take care of 100 Lakshmans. So Kaushalya does not need me. I need Kaushalya. And I need my service. So I am coming along with you. So that is the culture of respect. Another example. So when they were there in the palace, so Ram and Sita together, they would follow all the proper code of conduct. They would not transgress. So like I was describing this thing what Sita told. So that was at the climax, that when she was completely hopeless and helpless, and then that came out of herself. Otherwise she would always compliment Lord Rama. She would always appreciate Rama. She would always compliment Rama. Compliment in the sense, whatever is slightly less, like when we order some food or when we cook food, and then there is some salad also. So salad complements the food. It completes. So that way. Then Sita would care for Rama. And Sita would also correct Rama. So like that, everything as a wife, the complete package. And similarly, Rama as a husband, he was very charismatic, very attractive. We know that Surpanakha, she got attracted to Rama, and that is how the whole Ramayan happened. So, charismatic. Then he is very courageous, chivalrous. Then he is very, very caring. He's a very caring husband, and he is a confidant. Whoever tells him something in secret, he keeps that secret. He maintains that secret. So that is the culture which they would follow there. When they were in the forest, so Sita, Ram and Lakshman, they were walking. And once they met a group of girls in the forest. Now this is the first time when Sita Devi was meeting some village girls. And these village girls, they saw that these three very, very beautiful, attractive people, and they are there. I mean, the face was so effulgent. In fact, recently I read that Sita Devi's complexion is like glowing peach. We know peach fruit. The t-shirt color of His Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj. Not today. Today he wore some different color, but generally he wears that peach. So imagine that glowing peach. That is the complexion of Srimati Sita Devi. So she was these girls were very attracted, and they go to Sita Devi and then they start asking, hey, who are these two men? Who are these two men? Like in their innocence, they ask. And Sita, she was so shy. She didn't know how to introduce. Like all her life, Rama would introduce her wherever the introduction was needed, because they would visit some sages, ashram and all, and Rama would introduce. But here, first time in the life, she was supposed to introduce Ram and Lakshman. So Sita Devi, she turns and shyly she tells that tall, handsome, fair gentleman who speaks very sweetly, he is my brother-in-law. So to Lakshman, she could introduce this way. And Rama, she is like she's turning all pink and red, and she says, all she could utter was, he is my husband. And these girls, they started giggling, and these girls, they said, your face is like a beautifully written love letter. That's how you are looking when you are introducing your husband. So the culture of respect. In fact, there is a description. So the three of them, when they would walk, so Rama would walk in the front, then Sita in the middle, and Lakshman at the end. So Rama would walk. There is no road as such. There is no thoroughfare. It's all thorns and some mud, something. So Rama would walk. So his lotus footprint would be there. Sita Devi would not step on his footprint, so she would walk on this side. So because he is walking on the front, so whatever is good patch of land, he is walking. Sita Devi is avoiding that, and he is walking on this side of the footprint, on the, this is what? Right side of the footprint. And seeing this, Lakshman would walk on extreme left. So this is how they would walk, that they do not step over each other's footprint also. Though imagine the thorns and the stones, etc., how much it would be there, kankad patthar pure raste mein. And that's how they would walk. And Lakshman could see that when Sita would walk on a thorn and the toe would twitch, she would immediately pull, and then again she would start keeping her steps and walking. But then she would never ever step on Rama's footprint. Imagine how easy it would be, to walk just on his footprint. If she just steps on that, the walk is very easy. But she would not do that. And it is described she would walk on the right because her heart is on the left, and she wanted her heart to be closer to the footprint to Rama's footprint. So that is the culture they were following when they were so intimately connected. For months together, all they would see is each other. Only three people, no fourth person also. So when there is lot of intimacy, we become very casual. We show our true colors. But this is all happening and no casuality here. Another description. So when Sita Devi was flying, we would all know that she ties all her jewelry except for Chudamani. She tries everything. And she was looking down and she says that there are this group of monkeys sitting. And then she identifies, she could feel that one monkey is looking like the king of all monkeys. So she aims and she throws that pouch at that monkey. So that was actually Sugriv. In fact, it is described that Rama chose to be on Sugriv's side and not on Bali's side because Sita chose Sugriv. So it was decided that day itself. Out of the two brothers, Rama chose Sugriv. So now, when this packet landed there, when this pouch landed there, and so these monkeys were thinking, and then they looked up and they saw that, Sita is. So one lady is flying, so they could understand that Ravana, he's like that, he has been doing, and somebody else is getting exploited. But when they looked at this beautiful lady, and then they felt that there is something angelic, there is something divine in this lady. She is not an ordinary lady. They could make out. Why? Because this lady, the tears were falling, and the sweat was falling. And it is described that the tears and the sweat, they were falling like pearls. Keeping that shape, it was coming and hitting the ground. So they could understand that this is something very unique, and they kept it safely, that there will be something related to this which would happen. And the description is there that wherever Sita Devi's this tears and sweat fell down, after a few days, some plants started sprouting there. We all know Sitafal. Custard apple. So if we open, there are tiny, tiny tears like that. So that is Sitafal. So, back to the story. So finally Rama met Sugriv, and Sugriv shows this jewel things, and Rama started taking out one and the other, and I think this is Sita Devi. What do you think, Lakshman? I think this is Sita Devi. What do you think, Lakshman? Because Rama needs Lakshman's consent, approval. Yeah. Like whatever he says, but he asks Lakshman also, okay, you confirm. So Lakshman says a beautiful verse there. Lakshman says, Na aham janami keyure, na aham janami kundale, nupure tu abhijanami nityam pad abhimandalanat. He says, Na aham janami keyure. So keyure means armlet. Na aham janami. Mujhe nahi pata. I don't know how her armlet looks like. Na aham janami kundale. I don't know how her earrings look like. I don't know what type of earrings she would wear. Nupure tu abhijanami. I know the anklets. Why? Because daily I would pay obeisances to her, and I have seen only Sita's feet. I have never seen Sita's face. This was the time for Rama to be shell-shocked. Can we imagine what he is saying here? He has never looked at Sita's face in 13 years. And he is telling, I can recognize her payal, because that is what I see, because when I touch her lotus feet, I would see her nupur, I would see her payal. So that is how respectful Lakshman was. And this was the time when Rama felt that, how unfortunate it was for Sita to doubt such a brother-in-law who has never seen her above her feet. And Sugriv and other monkeys, so they were like gone. Because Sugriv has a brother and Rama has a brother. Sugriv's brother has taken his wife and enjoying with his wife, and here is Rama's brother who has not seen above the lotus feet of Sita Devi. And then Lakshman sees the anklet and he confirms, yes, this is Sita Devi's. Then Rama was like, yes, so these jewelry are of Sita Devi's jewelry. So this, my dear devotees, is the culture of respect, irrespective of how intimate we are, but there has to be certain boundaries, because otherwise that element of respect goes. Sita Devi, it is not that Rama and Sita, the love was any less, but still they could maintain so much of respect. The second, following the dharma, I think we will be able to cover only two if we can cover this completely. So the dharmacharini, following the dharma. So now one example we will take of Lakshman. So Lakshman, when Ram, Sita, Lakshman reached Panchavati, so there he constructed a house, a hut. Now this hut was a beautiful hut, and it had 3 rooms. One room was, guess. Sorry? No cooking, only roots and fruits, Prabhu. Okay, easy one. One room, Ram Sita's bedroom. Second room. Second room was guest room, when some saintly people would visit. And third room was altar, puja room. So 3 rooms. He constructed 3 rooms, very spacious rooms. Rama liked this place a lot. When Rama saw this hut, he was so appreciative of that. He said that ideal place, ideal house, and ideal brother. He has constructed such beautiful house with the bamboos and certain creepers. He got an intertwined bamboos, and with that, and he has made this house weatherproof. So even if it was very hot, or if it was raining outside, or very cold, he had given double layering there for the walls. So so like insulation was there also. So excellent house he has created there. And so Rama says that you have 3 things. He says you are bhavagya. Bhavagya means you understand the bhava. You understand my requirement, and accordingly you have constructed the house. You are kritagya. You are expert, skillful. So skillfully you have constructed the house. And third, you are dharmagya. Why dharmagya? You have not constructed a room for yourself, because you understand that it is improper. See, if we were to construct first, we would have decided which is our room. Okay, maybe not full-fledged, not master bedroom, but at least, something I need. But it was not the case here. He did not construct a room for himself. So Rama was so appreciative of this thing. So that is how following the dharma, how Lakshman was following the dharma. The second example of following the dharma was of Sita Devi. So Sita Devi was dharmacharini. She would follow the dharma. So one day Sita Devi was little concerned. And she told, so the husbands may understand when the wife says, we need to talk. Yeah, right? So the husbands know that, okay, so some bomb is going to be dropped at my head because she needs to talk. So one day, Sita Devi told, we need to talk. So Rama said, okay, come, let's sit and talk. So he sat next to her, he holds her hand, he looks at her lovingly. My dear Sita, you wanted to speak. He's building a very romantic atmosphere there to lighten up the burden which he's about to receive. And Sita Devi, if it was any other day, she would have been very pleased. I mean, it was perfect. The timing was perfect. The perfect mood was set. She slightly pulls her hands away. So Rama knew, okay, now. So Sita Devi says that when my father married me to you and when my father sends me, so that time my father told that my daughter will follow you, Rama, everywhere, wherever you are dharmic. And wherever there is a deviation, my daughter will correct you. So I think that time has come. So now to Ramchandra was, okay, so something really serious. So then he was like, okay, I'm all ears. Yes, go on. What is it? So Sita Devi says, that you have taken a vow that you will kill all the demons on this earth. Now, a Kshatriya, he is supposed to protect, but he is not supposed to harm people unnecessarily. You have come to the forest, you have taken the clothes of an ascetic, and yet you are saying, or not only saying, you have taken a vow that you will annihilate the demons from the earth. So this, according to me, it is not okay. Why is it not okay? 2 reasons. One, that only those who harm you should harm and protect. 2, that you are dressed as an ascetic. So then Rama was relieved. Okay, this only. Okay. I have, I have my part ready. I have my explanation. So then Rama started explaining that these demons, they are actually harming all these saints who are doing the tapasya here. So that request has been coming to him, and it is his duty to protect. Second thing, his mother and father have told him to go to the forest and be in the clothes of an ascetic. They have not told him to give up their bow and arrow and not be a kshatriya anymore. So he said that all this area where we are treading now, this is all the kingdom of Bharat. So Bharat is ruling there in Ayodhya. He is not able to come to the forest, and I am the representative of the king. So I am taking care of the forest region. So he is taking care of that, and I am taking care of this region. So rest assured, I am not harming anyone. In fact, Sita actually brings one point that a kshatriya, he is supposed to 3 things. Not to have illicit relationship, not to lie, and not to kill people unnecessarily. So she says that I have absolute faith for the first 2, but this third one I am perplexed. So this is how Rama explains. So the point here, what we need to learn is following the path of dharma. So Sita Devi, who was married to Lord Ramchandra, the supreme personality of Godhead himself, and yet when she was in doubt, she did not hesitate to question him, because she knew that that was dharmic. So this is following the dharma. Okay, we have 5 minutes. The third point is true independence. So now, here we see Ram and Lakshman are standing, and Lakshman, how is he looking? He's angry, he's upset, he's not happy. So this scene, this photo was clicked just before Lakshman started constructing that house, which we just saw the house. So this photo was captured. This pastime happened at that time. So what has happened is, when they reach Panchvati, so Rama tells Lakshman, go and find a suitable place which suits you, which suits me, and construct a house there. And Lakshman's face was like this, angry and upset. And Rama was like, what happened, bro? Bro, what did I tell you? I just asked you to find a suitable place. Lakshman says, you did not ask me to find a suitable place. You told me to find a suitable place which suits you and which suits me. Is there anything wrong? Lakshman says, by saying that, you are indicating that there is something which suits you and not suits me, and there is something which suits me and not suits you. Which indicates that my desire is separate from your desire. But how can I desire anything which you will not desire? My desire is not to choose. My desire is to follow. So give me the independence to follow. Do not give me the independence to choose. I don't want to choose, my Lord. I don't want to choose. I want it to be your choice. So Rama was so pleased, so touched with this. And then Rama goes and he finds out a place. So he sees that this location, which he decides that where he has to make the house, so it was a slightly higher at a hilltop, from where the view was very scenic, because Sita Devi liked scenery. So the view was very scenic. Close by there was a lake. So Rama loves to swim and take baths. So the lake was nearby, and surrounding area there were these fruit trees also. So Lakshman has to go and get the things for them to eat. So that is also close by. So the lesson, my dear devotees, is that if we give the choice to Krishna to choose, then he chooses the place which is the best for us. So our true independence is to declare our complete absolute dependence on the Supreme Lord. Then we are independent, otherwise we are dependent on our own senses. The second example for this is Sita Devi. When she was in Ashok Vatika, she was sitting there and Ravan was, like as I was describing, he was threatening, he was doing so many things to her. In fact, he told that, finally he tells her that, okay, I am giving you 1 month time. And if in 1 month you do not agree, then I'll ask these Rakshasis to cook you for my breakfast. So that was the final warning he gave. So when he would come, every day he would come and he would harass Sita. So when he would do that, Sita Devi, one day she tells Ravana that, Ravan, if I want, she picks up actually a blade of grass and she says, with this blade of grass, I can destroy you now and here. But I am not doing so. Because if I do so, my husband will not get the credit. And then everyone will say that that husband who could not save his wife. So just because my husband's glories would be compromised, I am not killing you. Otherwise, my chastity, my loyalty, my dharma itself is enough to burn you to ashes. So Sita Devi, though she can be independent, but she decides to depend on Lord Rama. In fact, when Hanuman comes there in Sundarkand portion, when Hanuman reaches there, and when there is this whole conversation, and then Hanuman says, okay, Mother Sita, forget everything, climb on my back, I'll take you back. No need to wait. You know, Sita was telling that within 1 month Rama should come and all that. No need to wait for Rama, you climb and we'll go. And Sita says, first she says, I have never touched any Parapurush. How can I touch you? Then he says, I am your son. And a mother can touch the son. That is not a aparad. And then Sita Devi comes up with this reason. That, but what will happen to the reputation of, my Lord? So Sita, though she can free herself, but she decides to be there. Though she could escape. Hanuman actually, she gives various reasons. She says that you are so tiny. How will you hold me? You will drop me on the ocean somewhere. So then Hanuman becomes huge and he shows that, no, I am big. Please don't be scared. I'll not drop you. And then she says, how can I touch you? And then finally she says that my husband's reputation would be spoiled. So our true dependence is to declare our absolute dependence on the Supreme Lord. So with this, we will end our session. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We will do Kirtan for 5 minutes. Balance portion. Next week. Okay, Prabhu. We will. Krishna willing, we will continue, Prabhu. These pictures are designed by your servant, taking the help of AI. Ramchandra Raghuvira, Ramchandra Ranadhira. Ramchandra Raghuvira, Ramchandra Ranadhira. Ramchandra Raghurama, Ramchandra Parandhama. रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ रामचंद्र मम बंधु रामचंद्र दया सिंधु रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र अनधीरा रामचंद्र रघुरामा रामचंद्र परम धामा रामचंद्र रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ रामचंद्र मम बंधु रामचंद्र दया सिंधु बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम 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 बोलो राम 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 जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपा 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 जय जय प्रभुपा सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे
सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। सियावर
रामचंद्र की जय।